A frustrating evening, though, one would presume, after that.
Yeah, very much so. Thought we started the game really well. Thought we had a couple of good openings. John had a really good chance, a couple of shots. So we started the game how I wanted us to, on the front foot and get after them. And then after that, we had a period where it just became a bit frantic in the game. There was a little bit of lack of composure. And everything seemed to be a million miles an hour, which I didn't want. And they grew into the game without troubling us, really. And I just felt we didn't keep the ball long enough to make them defend enough, or as much as I wanted. So we spoke of that at the half-time. And we said, look, it's important that we stay disciplined and keep our composure around the box, because we felt we would get opportunities. But it was just one of those nights. Every shot we had seemed to be a good height for Joe Day. He played well for them. And then the one big one when Dems has gone round him, they get back to stop off the line. But I have to say, and I'm not making excuses, the pitch is not helping. Dems goes round him and he can't keep his feet. So it's a lot to ask from our players to keep churning out performances on a pitch like that.
Yeah, we've been mentioning as well the bad run of form they were on. Given that, and if you'd taken one of those early chances, it could have been a game that you had gone on to dominate quite soundly.
Yeah, I think in these games, and we've had it twice now. We've had it once against Burton where we drew at home, and now tonight against Bristol, where both teams have been on bad runs. And I suppose in a way, psychologically, for those teams coming to us, they've got nothing to lose. Maybe the shackles come off a little bit and they've got no pressure, and they probably think we can just go and play. So it is important to get an early goal, I feel. And we just didn't get that tonight. But it was also equally important that we didn't lose the game. I've seen many times over my career where those sort of games are lost. And it's important that we didn't do that tonight. Not that Pimmy was overly troubled. The one with a good move, and the boys had a great strike that hit the post. And again, my defenders were very good.
Yeah, another clean sheet. That must be very pleasing for you, because they're racking them up, aren't they?
3 out of 4 now, which is good. It's a very good starting point for us, because we do feel like, and we have shown all season really, that we've got players that can create chances and score goals. But it was just one of those nights where it was very frustrating in front of goal, and we maybe lacked that little bit of composure. 1 or 2 shots. But there's going to be twists and turns over the course of the season. There's going to, especially the way the season is. There's so many games crammed into such a short short space of time. You have to be mindful, and you have to have the mentality that there's going to be a lot of twists and turns, and you're just going to have to cope with it. So we come away from tonight disappointed, feel like we've dropped 2 points, but equally, it's important when you haven't got your shooting boots on like we didn't tonight, we don't concede anything at the other end.
Yeah, you mentioned the pitch, Darren. How close do you think this game was to being called off? Was it in any doubt at all that the referee was having a look before the game? Were you fearful at one stage?
Well, we had an issue with it yesterday morning, in the sense that the tent that we've got up, that I have to say doesn't seem to be making any difference. It has had water on it, which got frozen obviously with the weather. So there was a lot of ice on the pitch. And to be fair, everyone chipped in. Young players were up there, staff were to get the ice off. So I felt confident that the game would be on. And then when the referee arrived, to be fair, he wasn't very happy with it. I think it was, at first sight, he thought it might have been touch and go. But after looking at it with a bit more detail, he gave it the go-ahead. But clearly, it's an absolute mess. And I can't see it getting any better, if I'm going to be honest. That's the fearful thing.
Yeah, and obviously something that will play on your mind, but also the players. You talked about it impacting them at certain times. There were a couple of occasions where it was getting caught under certain players' feet, and when you're playing as Dembele does at that kind of pace, it can be troubling. How do you tackle that as the manager, and what do you say to the players?
We have to just get on with it, and I'm not making excuses. It's our third game in what? I don't know how long it is. A week, 10 days at home, and it has an impact. I'm not making excuses, because we managed to get through it against Milton Keynes and won. We beat Charlton and won. But clearly, I'm just hopeful the 10-day break, and maybe it's a good thing that the cup games away from home on an equally as poor pitch at Tranmere, I have to say. We have to try and find a way. The ground staff have to try and find a way that we have to try and get it better. As simple as that. We're coming into a period now where hopefully, well, soonish, the weather will pick up, but clearly it's going to be a problem.
You named an unchanged side from Saturday. Was that a tough decision to make?
Yeah, I suppose there's always decisions for me to make. But I think, my substitutions again did really well tonight. Ethan came on, he's strong, he looks in a good place. Harrison did really well, thought had a real impact in the game. So again, I'll have to make decisions on Saturday about maybe freshening the team up. But I've got players in form, I've got Dems in form, Sammy's been in form. John, wasn't at his best for the first hour, but then came alive again in the last half an hour. So I've always got difficult decisions to make, and tonight was no different.
Yeah, and Shrewsbury away up next, so more difficult games and decisions for you to make. Well, what are you expecting from them when you go up against a team like Shrewsbury?
Well, since Steve Cotterill's gone in, they've been excellent. They've only had one defeat. They're organised. They're at it. I watched some of their game today against Sunderland. They play a similar formation to what we play and what Bristol play tonight, 3-4-1-2. So we'll have to contend with that. But yeah, as in any game in particular, again, I go back to what sort of a season it is. You've got to be mentally switched on and physically ready. And we'll have to freshen them up, and we'll have to look at whether we make changes to the starting team.
And finally, Darren, exactly 2 years to the day since you were reappointed Peterborough United manager. I mean, given what happened last season and that opportunity was sort of taken from you and your side to go and get promotion, you must be really happy with where your side is at.
Yeah, I didn't know it was 2 years. It's in many ways flown by, and in some ways seemed like 10 years because of the COVID. So that delay we had last season. Look, I know the expectations of the football club. I know the expectations of the owners. My job is to try and get success on the football pitch, to bring and develop young players, to make sure the club's got assets. So I think in the last 2 years we've done that.